Welcome back to Mark on Expression. We are featuring Tunefoolery, and again, we have another performance by CJ. And CJ, go ahead,
It's
take
a
it
song I
away.
wrote called Positive Side of Life. Should I leave? Because I think that you should be out alone for a while, girl. Giving you more time to cry about all the bad mistakes you made all your life. Maybe you could give us more of your time to the positive side of life. And baby, could you sit for a while? Let me try to make you smile. No, it was all a bad dream. Things are never really as bad as they seem, because you know by now. Maybe you could give me some more of your time to the positive side of life. Maybe you could give us some more of your time to the positive side of life. Thank you. All right. You ready? This is a song I wrote in my early sobriety. It's called Sobriety Blues. My plans from the backyard just the other day, only to find an empty hole. Sat in its church band, who began to lose all control. I made plans from the past, but then that blinded path was always full of lies. No one ever expects for things to end this way, but when they end this way, there's nothing more to say. It's just another day out on the run. But in the long run, it's the first day of the rest of my life. Decided to try to repay everyone I had burned, including my ex-wife. Fell into a crack from a blinded path, when that blinded path is always full of lies. never expects for things to end this way. But when they're this way, there's nothing more to say. Come on. Thank you. Remember to plug the piano in. Yeah. Wait, right now. No, let's wait till.
Thank you, CJ, once again. And now it is time for our reflection of today's show. And today's guest is Jacqueline Stokes. So we're going to watch that reflection and come back and respond to it.
Music therapy is like a food to the soul because there is a song for everything that happens in your life. And sometimes when you're going through things, you reach for a song to help you get through the day because it's just like that therapy that you need to move on with that day. Every song has a meaning, and there's a song for every season. There's a song for everything. So that's what music therapy is to me. It motivates, it uplifts, it inspires. Music therapy worked for me. Being brought up in a music culture, my mother had every 45 record there was. I knew every feeling she was going through by the songs that she played. So that like fell off to me. So how would music therapy work for a person like me?
Well, thank you, Jacqueline. And so we just watched the reflection of Jacqueline. And as she explained, music has been a part of her life, all of her life, and it is therapeutic. So now we're going to go back to our guest. Mimi, I'm going to start with you. And as you reflect upon music, go back as far as you can remember of it becoming a part of your life and it meaning music becoming important to your life. And if you want, share with our viewers who some of your favorites of all time are.
Well, you know, I can close my eyes, sunshine, and I remember being maybe 6 or 7 years old up on Mission Hill and just humming and being
You know
happy.
I'm from Mission Hill
No,
now.
I didn't know
Oh,
that.
girl, we all
Okay.
from Mission Hill, too.
All right then. And I remember today I can just imagine in my mind that sunshiny day and just singing. And for me, it just it was very healing back then to have so much chaos around me. When I would sing songs, it brought me a lot of comfort and relief.
When did you realize that it was a gift or a talent? And who supported and inspired you?
Who supported and inspired me? I would have to say probably around 14 or 15. My friends all encouraged me to sing. You know, they would call me Shay Shay, Shay Shay, sing, sing, you know. And that they were instrumental. And I picked up the guitar at 14, taught myself how to play guitar. And I think, you know, people who write about real things like Dylan, you know, but I also like Motown. I like all kinds of music, classical music, all kinds of music. You know, it's just it's a wonderful, wonderful gift that we have down here on this planet.
CJ, you performed 2 songs.
3.
No, well, you performed 2 additional songs. We talked about the first one. And the 2 additional songs, the first title was
Positive Side of Life.
Positive Side of Life, and the second title was?
Sobriety Blues.
Those have themes or meanings. I can just tell by the titles of those songs. So the positive side of life, what inspired that song?
My recovery from alcohol and drugs addiction, and someone leaving my life. And, you know, everyone goes through bad times, but it's how we handle them that matters. And that song is hopefully a message to everyone, you know, to stop wearing the frown because it gets you nowhere. You know?
And the second song?
Sobriety Blues. I wrote that in the first 9 months of my sobriety.
In the first 9 months. And how many times have you performed that song?
I actually I performed it on another cable access show that I did in Providence, Rhode Island, called Heavy TV. I've done it there. I have it on my phone, videoed on my phone. I'm really proud of it. It's kind of funky, and I love blues. I love Robert Johnson. I aspire to all those kinds of artists. I like blues artists are my number one favorites.
So you also talked about that you were in a punk band as a younger...
Heavy metal.
Wait a minute. Now, see, that's what I was getting ready to get to.
Yeah.
How do you transition from heavy metal to blues to soft rock? I don't know if that's what I'm hearing. I'm just thinking that's what I'm listening to because I'm not a musician.
Yeah, well, because...
But it's a more mellow toned sound coming from you. Do you think it has anything to do with your recovery?
It does. And let me say that before I even got into the heavy metal band, I was into classic rock and I was into blues. But the heavy metal was sort of, I've always liked Metallica. I've always liked that style of music. But as I gotten sober and I lost my wife and I lost this and I lost that and I got a bunch of things happened. I got into this musician called Jack Johnson. I love his surf style. Very mellow, laid back, and that seems to sell really good, and I'm really interested in that kind of music.
All right,
So
and we do want to make sure that we let our viewers know that CJ is also a guitar instructor, and as you can hear and what you've seen, he is a vocalist or singer and a songwriter, and you also have your own recording studio.
Yep,
Is that recording studio open to the public? We can't talk about costs or anything?
It is. Yep. My contact information is on my CD, which I sell at when I busk. I do what's called busking. I set up at subways, different areas of Boston, and I set up and play. I sell my CDs, and it's got my information on there. I'm a guitarist, instructor, and a piano instructor, and singer-songwriter.
All right. So we're going to make sure that we give your contact information out. We're not going to encourage people to purchase anything because it would go against our policy here at Boston Neighborhood Network, but we do want you to learn more about CJ, the individual, the artist, the musician, hear more about his story, and if you'd like to contact him to learn more about him, we can give you that telephone number. It is 401-649-3483. Again, it's 401-649-3483. Jens, I'm coming to you now.
I'm ready.
Because we have spent a lot of time learning and hearing from both Mimi and CJ. Mimi, we're going to hear from you musically soon. And we talked about tomfoolery and how it got started. But what I'd like to hear, because I've listened to both Mimi and CJ talk about what tomfoolery means to them in their recovery with the trauma. What are some of the services, whether those are mental health or other services that are provided through Tomfoolery beyond the music and the healing of those who are struggling through addiction and other
Yeah.
illnesses.
Yeah.
Well, you said we don't want to say illnesses. Health issues, what is it again?
Mental health, those in mental health recovery.
Those
Yes.
in mental
Yes.
health recovery, because I'm still there. I might have to come
Yes, sure.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, so how it works is for musicians to join Tomfoolery, they have to pass an audition because we want to make sure that all our musicians have a high quality in what they're doing. But when our musicians are in there, we provide music lessons. We have a yearly retreat. And I think maybe the most important thing is that we have, like what Mimi was talking about a little bit, we have a community of really supportive people that know that everyone in mental health recovery have their ups and downs. And we can be real about that, we can talk about that. But what we do, so the power of Tomfoolery is that we do something for our musicians, but then we also do something for our audiences. So we send out our musicians to gigs, so anyone can hire us for any kind of gig, and we do everything from classical to rock and roll. We also provide groups, so we, for example, have meditation, music and meditation groups that we do in hospitals and mental health centers all over Boston. So it's really a way to use music as a healing tool. And right now there is this movement also in the mental health recovery community of having peers, people who have gone through their own recovery, be out there and supporting the recovery of others. Because there's something very powerful when you hear from someone that has gone through the experience themselves. I remember, for example, when we played at a psychiatric hospital years ago, and one of our musicians said, I used to be here, I used to be locked up here just like you guys. And you could see how meaningful that was for everyone there to know, wow, he was where I was and now he's performing for me, and how much hope and how much positive energy that can bring in.
I heard CJ talk a little bit about when he was in the industry, right? The industry sounds so nasty, and it doesn't care about people or the the availability of all things wrong. That probably landed him in a position where all types of emotions, addictions, and things of that nature. How does Tomfoolery support these artists in their musicianship and assisting and aiding them so that even though they're doing these gigs wherever they may be, that they won't fall back into that trap of the industry that becomes readily available again?
Sure,
Is there some component to that?
Yeah, I mean, each musician is on their own path in a way. So we have musicians who wouldn't do any gigs at all if there wasn't for Tomfoolery. And we have musicians who, kind of like CJ and Mimi, who are already out there playing some music or doing some busking, but who, by joining us, can have access to the community and not feel so isolated. So it's really, I mean, we try to support any person wherever they are. I mean, we have people who sometimes get sick. They have their mental health goes up and down, and people need to take a break from performing. And we say, well, still come into our meetings, still come in and hang out with us. Still come into our coffee house that we have once a month and join the community. But it's really, having a long-term mental illness is a lifelong commitment to stay healthy. It's so much work, and I am so blown away by the musicians we have at Tomfoolery, how brave they are and how hard they work to stay healthy. But things go up and down, and we try to be there in whatever way we can for our musicians.
Mimi, talk about that. Here you are now on the center stage performing. How has that journey and your transition back through music, through Tomfoolery, how has that been? What has been the most joyous part of this for you? And I know you said you have two daughters or two children.
I have two grown adult children.
Oh, that's
34
important to
and
say.
24, a boy and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, who are rooting for me 100%, for mom 100%, and even my grandbaby is rooting for the Mimi. So I really feel blessed that way. I would have to say the highlight so far has been we have a coffee house once a month at our Tomfoolery space at Boston Medical Center, and I hadn't performed in 17 years.
17 years?
In 17 years.
Wow.
And accompanying myself on the guitar. So me stepping in there and sharing my music and having people honor me by listening was pretty powerful.
Well, that is so awesome. And you, CJ, how has your transition back? And did you have a period where you, and we only have like about a minute, but did you have a period of time that you did not perform at all? And what was that time frame like for you? Or you continued while you was,
Yeah, I've
or
always
you just
muddled
was,
through with my music. I've always made sure that I played to keep up my chops and my scales and my writing ability. I might have taken like 2 weeks where I was in the slumps, but
oh, okay. Well, all right. So that's how important music is
Yeah.
to you. We are going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to have a performance by Mimi and CJ together, and we'll take it right to the control room. We'll be back.
I'd like to play a song for you now called Not Today. Someday when I finally wake up, I'll let go and just give it all up. Surrender to whatever is, move on and begin again. Someday when the sun is shining, you'll see I've stopped the pining, all the fussing, all the crying till then. Na na na, na 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 na, hey. Na na na, na 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 na, hey. Na 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 na, hey, hey. Hey, not today. Today I lay my weary head on the pillow where you once slept. Hold the space where we dreamt. I'll think on all the words you said. And I'll tuck in every one of those good times like they were a sleepy child. And I'll know that I'm broken inside, but I'll bend. Na na na, na 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 na, hey. Na na na, na 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 na, hey. Na 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 na, hey, hey. Hey, not today. 'Cause I can't see the blue skies with those clouds in the way. And I can't handle your goodbye, it's too much to take today. Someday I'll put my makeup on, I'll hang the laundry out. You'll be gone, and I'll think I'm big and strong when I'll see the ghost of you in the little things that other people do, and I'll stand there like a fool with nothing to say except, baby, not today. Na na na, na 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 na, hey. Na na na, na 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 na, hey. Na 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 na, hey, 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 not today.
for your memory, I reach inside a bag of dreams, and I find dust on things we didn't say, cobwebs on the promises you've left behind. Now the bitter tastes good to me. It's so very sweet. The bitter tastes good to me. Loving you now is easy. I am not that young girl now. I'm a woman of the world, wiser. Time made my perception change, and forgiveness took me higher. The bitter tastes good to me. It's so very sweet. The bitter tastes good to me. Loving you now is easy. I may keep that bag in the closet, but I have not forgotten how the moonlight played on your face as you turned and walked away. Now the bitter tastes good to me. It's so very sweet. The bitter tastes good to me. Loving you now is easy.
Well, that was two wonderful performances again by members of the organization Tomfoolery. Mimi, we want to thank you for being here and our guest for today, as well as CJ. CJ is a instructor. He also has his own music production studio and can be reached at 401-649-3483. Again, 401-649-3483. The summertime is here, and maybe you want your children, or you might want to learn a little bit about music, the guitar playing, or need studio time. And I can't believe it's the end of our show, nearly the end of our show. I am still in studio with Jens, who is the executive director of Tomfoolery. I can only imagine the joy and inspiration. As you said, you started within this organization as an intern yourself, been with it since its inception over, I guess now, 20 years. And so when you see musicians and artists who come up and come out and perform again, you know, that must be very inspirational. So I'll give you, you know, just a minute or so to tell our viewers anything that you want us to know about Tomfoolery, and be sure to give, you know, those who might be watching, who might be going through something and are talented, your contact information.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, no, I think part of what's so amazing about doing this for 20 years is to see, like you're saying, seeing the growth of people, you know, Some people who have been really shy and very isolated in their life are now having positions where they go out and talk about themselves and their recovery process. That's pretty remarkable to see. And yeah, I mean, I really want to say that anybody who is either interested in hiring us, you know, you can go to our website, tunefoolery.org, where you can listen to samples from our musicians and get information about how to hire us. And you can do that for any garden party or, you know, whatever you want to hire us for. We have some great musicians. And also for anybody who is in mental health recovery, I want to say, and who is a musician, reach out to us and you know, see if you might be interested in joining us. We have we have a coffee house the first Thursday of each month in our space, which is also on our website. So you can come there and just listen to our music as well. So
And what's your website and your
the
contact
website again is
information?
www.tunefoolery, TUNE-foolery.org. And you can also reach us on the phone, you know, 617-626-8991. So please
One
to
more
reach out
time,
to
that
us.
telephone number?
617-626-8991.
Well, thank you, Jens.
Sure, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you
It's
for
been
being
wonderful
here.
for us to be here, and it means a lot for us to go out in the world and showcase who we are.
Well, it's been a wonderful experience for us as well here at Mark on Expression. We want to thank our guests that include Jens, Mimi, CJ, and also Jacqueline Stokes for her reflection. We have more in store here on Mark on Expression, and we want to thank our crew and staff of Boston Neighborhood Network. For more information, please go to bnntv.org, and thank you for being here.